if they tried to go back to that again.
Yeah, Dremmel's in the slot here. Jackson is wide right. Washington left. Manungai to the left of Wimsatt. 3rd and 9. Handoff. And Manungai's just swallowed up at the line. They handed it off, and that did not work whatsoever. Derek Moore off the edge with the tackle, and it's 4th and 12. Left. Corum again in the backfield. McCarthy hands it off. Corum now cuts right. He gets a lane. He's out to the 15, breaks a tackle, out to the 20, 1st down and more. First big play for the Wolverines. Desmond Jennings finally gets to him, but past the 20-yard line. Dynamic run for Blake Corum.
And that could be the issue for Rutgers if Michigan decides to exploit this the entire game. He cuts it outside again, nothing up the middle. Deion Jennings did a nice job plugging the middle hole, but as soon as he bounced it outside, there was no one there.
Michigan 0 for 1 on 3rd down so far. Motion this time right side. It's Donovan Edwards, and nobody's there for Rutgers. He's out to the 40, to midfield, trying to make the defenders miss, and he's hit hard out of bounds by Flip Dixon, but all the way out near the Rutgers 35. First big play for the Wolverines. Scarlet Knights caught completely off guard there.
Yeah, and he was lined up on the in a motion man going left to right, and Rutgers caught in a bit of a zone coverage issue, it looked like, or maybe man, and just there was no one accounting for Donovan Edwards on that right side, left wide open, and a big pickup for the Wolverines.
Donovan Edwards, not your conventional back. You can use him as a receiver too, especially when you got Blake Corum ahead of you on the depth chart. Had 991 yards last season. This one's going to be a handoff. It's going to be a flea flicker. Corum to Edwards to McCarthy, and back wide open. Wolverines inside the 10, taken down inside the 5. It's Colston Loveland, so a double flip. Loveland catches it on the right side. Wolverines with some trickery, and they got 1st and goal at the 2.
Yeah, just getting guys in motion right now. It seems to be an issue for the Scarlet Knights. The Donovan Edwards play prior, and now Loveland, they do the double flea flicker, and he's just wide open again on that right sideline. And Rutgers just misaccounting for assignments on defense. Now Michigan at the 3-yard line on 1st and goal. The 2-yard line, excuse me.
Yeah, with Jim Harbaugh back at the sideline, Michigan not wasting any time to try to tie this game up. That was a wild play. You had both Corum and Edwards flipping the ball then as blockers. I formation here, 1st and goal at the 2. Handoffs to Corum right up the middle, powering to the goal line. He's in, touchdown Wolverines, and they're an extra point away from tying this. Michigan marches down the field on a 94-yard drive with a little bit of trickery mixed in on multiple plays, but they go back to the old-fashioned one. Handoff, dive up the middle, and it's Blake Corum who gets into the end zone. Rutgers lets that clock tick. Patel sets. The Patel kick is up, and that's going to miss short and to the left. So Jay Patel's second miss of his collegiate career. That one almost had the distance, but with a little wind, not the best foot on it, just a couple yards short. It goes a little left of the crossbar, and Michigan's going to get the possession back. Rutgers with 3 penalties already in this game. All have been on the offense. 2 of them have been offsides. First play's a handoff. Donovan Edwards gets a lane and gets straddled down around the 42-yard line. The Big Ten staying in the conference. Flip Dixon, another example of that. McCarthy fakes it, takes it himself. He's going to go out wide and just scampers out of bounds past the 30-yard line. Perfect fake handoff, and McCarthy keeps it, goes left, and Rutgers defense, everybody thought Blake Corum had the ball. 1st down out to the 27.
Another nice fake by McCarthy. Everyone selling out, thinking it's going up the middle, and a nice fake going left. Again, McCarthy just realizing, what the defense is going to do and just crash the middle of the line of scrimmage and just take it and run left.
First play of the drive here is going to be a handoff for Kyle Manungai. And once again, Michigan has him figured out. He got forward progress. He got pushed all the way back to the 15-yard line by about 5 Wolverines right there. First one in on the tackle was Kenneth Grant. Jaquay Jackson's second game with multiple receptions this season. 3rd down, a yard to go at the 33. Wimsatt hands it off. Manungai, don't think he got it. He's brought down.
I think he lost a yard.
Yeah, big hit. Several Wolverines were in the mix. 3rd down and 8 balls at the 23-yard line. Trips right for J.J. McCarthy. Claps his hands. Again, a receiver goes in motion. It's Wilson. McCarthy steps back, looks for Wilson, complete. And that's caught near the 40. Still on his feet, and then Flip Dixon just absolutely flips him to the ground around the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and that was Max Melton in man-man coverage, and that's been an issue for Max Melton this year. He's been beat on some of these deeper routes. This time, just a crosser going across the field, and That's been an issue that's been talked about on the Rutgers rivals boards and on Twitter. Max Melton has not looked the same as he once did when he was a sophomore. Past couple years have been disappointing for him and just really hasn't. He's been regressing a little bit, and right there, an example of it.
And it was that same look again with a slot receiver going in motion before the play and getting that extra burst of speed across the field. And it works out for McCarthy and the Wolverines. 1st and 10 at their own 46. J.J. McCarthy steps out, now has room to run. Open green grass out to the 40. Has more time and cuts out of bounds at the 32. So back-to-back big plays for Michigan, and they're suddenly deep into Rutgers territory, looking to take the lead with 5:13 to go in the half.
And the big plays have been the bread and butter for this Wolverine offense and the Achilles heel for this Rutgers defense. Just 33-yard pass to Edwards, 35 to Loveland on the first touchdown drive, and then you get this big run from McCarthy, the big crosser on 3rd and 8 the play prior. Defensively, they kept it. It stands. Wow. I thought he got it.
That's a shocker. It really looked like Loveland had the head of that football to the marker before his body was falling out of bounds. Jim Harbaugh is livid down there, chirping it up with the officials. And now puts the headset on and gets set. And now Michigan will go for it on 4th and 1. And Rutgers looking for an absolutely colossal stand here late in the second quarter. 4th down and 1. Loveland in motion. Goes right. Corum in the backfield. It's going to be a McCarthy handoff. And Corum spins forwards. And looks like he got this one. Looked like he needed 1 yard. And it seemed like he got 2. McCarthy drops back. Edwards, a potential receiver. Throw to the end zone. Oh, what a catch. Flag flies, but I don't think it's going to matter. What a grab for a touchdown for Michigan. That's Samaj Morgan who brings it in, blanketed in coverage.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pass interference on Rutgers. I didn't see much from Max Melton. Maybe it wasn't even him. We'll see. It was.
So Rutgers picks up the penalty. Doesn't matter. Clean coverage, dirty coverage. There was no stopping Samaj Morgan on making that catch. And what a grab in the corner of the end zone on a dart from McCarthy on 3rd down. And the Wolverines have their first lead of this Saturday afternoon with just 1:41 to play in the half. Turner on for the extra point. The hold, the kick. And that splits the middle. So Michigan, for the second time today, marches down the field. A long drive ends with an 18-yard passing touchdown. J.J. McCarthy to Samaj Morgan. It's 14-7 Wolverines, the number 2 team in the country, on top for the first time today over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Still 1:41 to play in the first half. We'll be back to finish out the first half. Eddie Kalegi with Dylan Allen here on WRSU FM New Brunswick and online at WRSU.org.
In 4th and 2 from the Michigan 27, Greg Schiano opting to keep the offense out there on one of its more promising drives of the ballgame. 4th and 2, Wimsett in the gun. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Takes the snap, drops back, full out blitz, screen to the left, and it's incomplete. And looks like it was intercepted by Michigan. Mike Sanders still has a lane. 50, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Wolverines.
Well, that's deflating. And I'm watching it back. That was a bizarre play. It was a screen pass that somehow ended up in the hands of Sandristel. And he brings it back. Wimsett got absolutely drilled, though, on a block coming back. And Michigan takes it down the field. And that's the momentum shifter of momentum shifters.
So the Scarlet Knights head coach Greg Schiano rolled the dice, and it goes in the favor of the Michigan Wolverines. It was Wimsett trying to complete a pass on the wide receiver screen on the far side, and the Michigan corners, give them credit, they saw it and blew it up and got in there to make the play. It was Mike Sainristil, the pick 6, 71 yards. So just like that, after a promising drive for Rutgers, it ends up in 6 for Michigan. Turner kicks this one up, and it splits the uprights, and it's good. So Michigan extends the lead 24-7 against Rutgers, and it's Wimsett's first turnover of the year.
Yeah, it is, and
first interception.
Just
as well.
a crazy play because Samer still kind of reached over, was overthrown over Jaquay Jackson, and there was so much confusion because I think a lot of people thought it was incomplete or that it was potentially caught because he pinned it on the shoulder of Jackson, then almost got knocked down by his teammates because he makes the play, gets hit by one, another one flips right over in front of him, and somehow Samer still with the wherewithal to stay on his feet, gets a lane, and does the rest. So as brutal of a play as you could have if you're Rutgers, but what a play by Samer still.
Out in front 24-7. As Eddie, looks like, yeah, here we go. The tradition, end of the third quarter. Mr. Brightside by the Killers, a tradition here at the Big House. Just listen in. Continue to sing that song until they get to Mr. Brightside. McCarthy in the gun, takes the snap, drops back, quickly fires over the middle, has Roman Wilson across the 50 and knocked out of bounds, enough for the first down. And it's at the 46-yard line of the Scarlet Knights. Longer being able to push him out of bounds to keep it at that, but it's enough for the first, and that'll move the chains. Well, sorry we had to cut off Mr. Brightside, but McCarthy had other ideas.
Yeah, not even the Killers could kill the momentum for Michigan right now.
At the 45, 1st and 10, up 17. McCarthy takes the snap, drops back, looks right, fires right, and it's complete to his tight end at the 23-yard line. Colston Loveland makes the catch, and another big play from this Michigan offense.
Yeah, I think Flip Dixon's a little banged up because I don't know why he pulled back there. I guess he didn't want to lay a big hit by accident, but Dixon had a lane to potentially break up that ball and was trailing back, and it allowed Loveland to have an open range to kind of fall back and lead shoulders back first to make the catch.
It looked like Dixon was potentially going for the interception. Nonetheless, a big play for Michigan. 28 yards to Colston Loveland. First down from the Rutgers 17. Michigan in the gun, takes the snap, hands to Corum up the middle. No, fakes it. It's McCarthy left, has a lane at the 10, and Dixon there to push him out of bounds. It looks like he had enough for the first down, but I tell you what, this fake handoff is not only getting this Rutgers defense, but it is getting two of us too today. McCarthy doing a really nice job with that fake handoff today.
Yeah, he holds it for so long, and Corum, it matters just as much with the running back to be able to sell it on the other end, and he really makes it look like he's got the ball in his hands. That's a big run by McCarthy.
So 1st and goal from the 5. Michigan looking to extend its lead. McCarthy in the gun, takes the snap, hands it to Corum, runs up the middle, breaks a couple tackles across the goal line, and he's in for the score. Touchdown, Wolverines.
Yeah, we've reached the point now where Michigan is enduring more than Rutgers. The physicality there. Corum, I mean, he got hit at the 3-yard line and he just dragged about 4 defenders into the end zone. That's why Blake Corum was a Heisman candidate last year and might be the best running back in college football.
So Corum, his second score of the afternoon. The first one was a 2-yard run. This one a 5-yard run. So on the day, 19 attempts, 81 yards. 18 attempts, 81 yards, and 2 scores for Blake Corum. 30-7, Michigan leads. Turner to kick the extra point. Snap, hold is down, kick is up, and it is good for Turner. So Michigan extends its lead 31-7 with 12:38 to play in the fourth quarter. Here comes the 2nd and 3. Under center, McCarthy takes the snap, hands it to his running back across midfield. It breaks a couple tackles, and he's brought down by a shoelace tackle right at the 48 of the Scarlet Knights. And boy, if he had gotten off that tackle, that very last one, it could have been 6.
Yeah, that was a touchdown-saving tackle, and that was someone else, Khalil Mullings, who's a former linebacker, now becoming a running back. And I think with the force that we saw there with him powering through, he showed why he was an ex-linebacker, and that's the number 3 back on this team. Hasn't touched the ball all that much, but of course I think Corum and Edwards' touches will be limited at this point in the game.
McCarthy in the gun, takes the snap, hands it to Mullings, runs up the middle, has a bit of a push, breaks a couple tackles, and finally goes down at the Rutgers 31. Wow, big gain, about 10. McCarthy takes the snap, hands it to Mullings. Mullings is met by a couple Scarlet Knights short of the first down, and that is how today's ball game will end. A final score here in Ann Arbor, number 2 Michigan 31, Rutgers 7. As Rutgers started out the game with a 7-0 lead and 31 points unanswered from the Wolverines.
Yeah, tough one for Rutgers. Third straight year, they start 3-0, then face a tough Big Ten opponent, and are sort of humbled in that fourth game. Last 2 years now against Michigan, they've been outscored 55-0 in the second halves of those 2 games combined.